stand with them again now.
Thank you. I call Timothy Garson.
Very much, Principal Deputy Speaker. This motion exposes a simple but serious truth. The United Kingdom no longer controls immigration policy across its own territory. And why is that? Because the protocol has placed part of our nation under foreign rule. It is a matter of deep regret that some return to Stormont, having promised the public they wouldn't, whilst the protocol remains. But here we are, back in office, with the protocol still in place and embedding in more and more each day. And now this House debates a motion that confirms what many of us already know. Northern Ireland is excluded from the UK's immigration system. The Rwanda case made it clear. When push comes to shove, it's not Westminster in control, it's Brussels. Our colonial masters in the EU now hold the sway in Northern Ireland. On that basis, it's no surprise how the rigorous implementers in this House line up in immigration. Mr Buckley summed it up well. He summed it up the attitudes of the Nationalist and Republican alliance within this House when he said, "Brits out and everyone else in." And despite the spin about the reset yesterday, no one even pretended it removed the immigration border in the Irish Sea. So let's be honest. Unless and until unionism gets back to its position it abandoned after the election and refuses to implement the union dismantling protocol, there will be no immigration policy that applies equally across the UK. Mr Buckley.
And whilst I note this considerable concerns surrounding the protocol and issues relating to immigration policy, would he also accept that the UK government is no template for anybody to follow when it comes to record levels of illegal and legal immigration?
The member has an extra minute.
I thank the member for his intervention, and absolutely I agree. But hoping, as we look to the future, that policy will change. And the election results in England a number of weeks ago has changed the mindset of the Labour government, and I trust that they follow through with some of their commitments. As of today, people arriving illegally into the south can still come across the border into Northern Ireland, with this place having no powers to stop people coming or even send them back across the border. On the other hand, we have the Irish government actively checking border crossings. In the last 7 months, they have sent 50 migrants back to the UK from the Irish Republic. At least 6 of them were sent on a one-way train ticket to Belfast. Members, a sovereign nation must have control of its own borders and indeed its destiny. Sadly, that's a fundamental many in this House struggle to grasp. Mr McCrossan, you were looking in.
For giving way. I find it fascinating. I'm sure he would like to send pretty much most people in this House across the border if he had an opportunity. I think your mantra should be, and maybe you'll not agree with this, but it's Brits in and everyone else out.
Not at all. If you look at the name Gaston, I was one of them people, my ancestors, when I came across here absolute years ago and made this place its home. But that's not the problem, and that's not what we're addressing here today. So, this motion in front of us rightly highlights the cost of immigration. It's not all Westminster cost. There is part of that borne by the Executive. So last September I tabled a question to the Health Minister about translation services here. In 23-24, the Department spent £4.4 million on face-to-face interpretation. Over £4 million of this figure was to translate for those who have come to Northern Ireland and can't speak or understand a basic level of English. Let me be clear, no one is saying people should be denied medical care or to come to this country to work. But if you're spending over £4 million just to translate what a doctor or a nurse says, it shows the system is broken. If you come to the UK, you should be expected to speak and have a basic level and understanding of English. That is not... No, it's absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely, and it shouldn't be a controversial issue. And that leads to the problem that we're having in this debate today. It's all about name-calling and mudslinging instead of creating that space to allow the debate to happen. We cannot keep asking taxpayers who have lived here all their lives to fund translation services on this scale. Migration puts pressures on hospitals, schools and housing. That is a fact. It may not be a problem in leafy suburbs, but speak to working class people in this province. Many feel like strangers in their own communities. Take Ballymena. Mr Frew rightly highlighted Ballymena. You take areas such as Harryville or Glenorvan. My goodness, these were once working class areas, houses being bought up by landlords, and they've turned them into illegal HMOs, and many of them overcrowded. I can trust why local people, and I can understand why local people are unhappy. They're not racist, they're not ignorant, they're asking fair questions of why this is happening in their areas. People are asking, why do people not speak to us? Or why not speak up for us? My goodness, the intolerance shown in this chamber today
Timothy,
just proves the point
up.
that many of you are out of touch with what your communities want.
Time's up. Well, could I just remind members, see when I say time's up, so that will impact the next time you be called to speak. Okay? Thank you. So, Jerry Carl's